start craving.
Welcome back.
Wait for one thing.
I'm really excited about bringing on my next guest. I saw her in a magazine, and I said I have to call her. I have with me Mo Michael, and she is the program director of Compass Recovery Center. Welcome to the show. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Sure. Thank you very much. So I am the program director of a treatment center, and I specialize in problem gambling. And I'm an internationally certified gambling counselor. And what we do is we help the people who struggle with a gambling addiction. And there's not much help out there. There's only 2 in the state of what we do. Because we provide a residential component to our treatment to get people out of their environment.
Right. So if you're living near a casino,
Which is easy to do in Arizona.
they're all over the place. So you actually get them out of the environment. So where are you located?
We're located in Prescott, Arizona. So for those who don't know where Prescott is, we're up 5,000 feet. So we're much cooler
Nice.
than Phoenix.
You're lucky if you do.
Yeah, usually 20 to 25 degrees cooler than Phoenix. So summertime's a great time to get some help.
Got a question.
Yes.
First, the thing I want to know: how many people? How would they know, first of all, if they have a gambling problem?
Well, the definition of problem gambling is someone who continues to gamble despite negative consequences. So that would be inability to pay their rent or mortgage, like they're using their bill money, or strain on relationships. If they're spending more time in the casino and their wife or girlfriend or children are saying, hey, you need to knock it off, and they continue to gamble, that would...
That's a sign.
Absolutely. If someone's lying about their gambling, and that could be lying about how much they lost or even how much they won. A lot of gamblers lie, I won $5,000, but what they didn't tell you was they put it all back plus another $2,000. And so if they're lying about their gambling, or if their bet amount is increasing, that's another sign of problem gambling.
Now, okay, you said before we came on the show that you have a book, and everyone's going to get this book. Now, maybe it's you. Maybe it's someone that you know. This is something that we're going to try and reach out to some people out there that might have somebody out there that's a loved one that you may have a gambling problem. Maybe you don't know it. Maybe it's a book. It's called Behind the Eight Ball. Why is it called that? And how does it help them?
So it's a book for the families of gamblers, because usually the families seek out treatment first before the gambler. The gambler is in it. They don't really know what's going on. So the family. So this is kind of a inside look at the life of a problem gambler, and it's been out for over 20 years. And so anybody who calls and asks, we will send them the book so they can read more on problem gambling.
Now, our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. And I'm going to let everyone call throughout the rest of the show, too, for this, to give you the option of getting it, because this is something that, obviously people... It's not like you're calling in, it's a weed whacker, I can't wait to have it to use it on my weeds. It's something a little different, and it's also very personal, and a lot of people out there are shamed, and you don't have to be, no one's going to know. You're not calling in and asking, a question on air. It's basically just calling in, and we'll get you connected with them to get the book. So 602-277-5369, and toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. You are one of the only 2 in the state that do this, right?
Yep, specifically gambling, yes.
They're located in Prescott, so it's nice. They like you to get away from the area so that you are away from any of that. The website is compassrecoverycenters.com. They're rated with the Better Business Bureau, and their phone number is toll-free 800-216-1840. I got to ask you before we go on, before any of this, is if you only do gambling there, is it only for that, or do you also help with others? I just have to ask that.
We also help with substance abuse problems, because a lot of times it comes in hand with some people with gambling and substance abuse.
Okay, so I just want to get that out, because if anyone wanted to ask you or get connected with you about that, could they?
Absolutely.
Okay, I just didn't want to keep it totally on that.
Yeah, and one thing that we do that, when someone calls in, if we can't help them, I stay with them until I can find them the proper placement across the country. So I will stay with someone. I will not just hang up the phone and say, sorry, we don't do that.
Okay, so our number here, 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. Everyone is getting the book. It's Behind the Eight Ball. It's for the families and to help them with the issue, which is, hard on anybody knows that if when somebody has an issue, then it really hits the family.
Absolutely.
Okay, so why can't people just quit? Why is it so hard to quit?
Well, what happens is your brain, your frontal lobe, just completely shuts down. It's like the lights turn off.
Mine do all the time. Go ahead.
So that part of the brain that tells us, hey, this is probably not a good idea, is completely shut off. So that's how compulsive gamblers, problem gamblers can lie, can steal money. The criminal activity is the highest among problem gamblers. Embezzlement cases are usually connected to problem gambling because just like drugs and alcohol that need to drink more and use more, gamblers have to bet more, to get the same high. So the odds go higher and higher, and they have the inability to shut it down. They live in this fantasy world.
Okay, so you said that gambling is very similar to any other addiction.
Yes.
Okay.
There was one main difference, and that is for gamblers, the drug is money. So we have to help them come to peace with their drug of money, and that's part of the biggest part of our treatment, because you can't not have money in your life. You have to learn how to deal with it, but for any gambler, that's their drug of choice.
Here's another thing, and I got to say this. I've seen, and I rarely go to them because it's not my thing, okay? But I've been, and it seems like I've seen even people who are drug addicts that are just praying. Mm-hmm. I mean, they might be at that penny machine or whatever it is, and they're praying for that one hit because they're going to go out and spend money on drugs. So this is why I want everybody to be able to hear all of this and to be able to call in. We're not just talking about being a gambler. There are drug abuse people who are really looking. They just want that money, or they think that they can win that money to pay that bill or whatever it would be. Even that it's not necessarily that they are addicted to it, but they need it so badly. It's terrible. I've seen that. It's awful.
Absolutely. And it's chasing. The whole thing behind the addiction is chasing the win. And unfortunately for gamblers, problem gamblers, even if they win, they can't leave. They cannot leave. They put it all back plus some.
Now, again, you can call them direct. Their phone number is 800-216-1840. We are talking about gambling, but it can be for other substance abuse as well. Mm-hmm. Their website is compassrecoverycenters.com. They're rated with the Better Business Bureau. With gambling, they're one of only the two in the state that has this anyway. And the good news is you get to go to Prescott and get away from this area and sort of if you have a night. And how long are they usually there?
30 to 90 days.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Now, again, we've got our lines open here for everyone. This is a great book. When you talk about this book, is it for mostly gambling or is it, again, for substance abuse?
No, just gambling.
This one is just gambling. Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So it's Behind the Eight Ball, and everyone's getting that. So it's 602-277-5369, and toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. I want this question out really quickly because I know it's going to go by fast. My loved one is gambling, and I feel powerless, and I can't help. What are the suggestions?
Make the call. Call us. Call somebody to get the help that you need. There's programs for the families first, and if you have private insurance, most treatment now can be covered with insurance. There was a change in the DSM about 4 years ago that recognizes that gambling is actually an addiction, so it can be fully covered 100% by insurance.
That's awesome.
Nothing out of pocket.
Now, again, if somebody has a problem or they know someone that has a problem, where do they go? Where do they call from here? Where do they call? What's the first phone number to call? You?
Sure, 800-216-1840. Or in Arizona, we have the Arizona Council on Compulsive Gambling, and they will direct you to meetings, to Gamblers Anonymous meetings, to Gam-Anon meetings, that's for the family, or to treatment. It's a nonprofit that's set up in Arizona that specifically helps problem gamblers.
It's a vicious cycle, and it's not just for older people. Younger people are doing it too. Online, they're doing it. Let's talk a little bit. You have a minute. Go ahead.
So, there's online gambling. It's supposed to be illegal in the United States, but they have offshore casinos, and so the online gambling is just devastating to families. You just keep clicking refill, 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 and it just drains bank accounts. And so, I've worked with people that have taken their kids' college funds, that have taken their, retirement savings and blown it all. So it is all of casino gambling. I think we have 24 casinos here in Arizona now, and maybe 25 with the new one in Flagstaff. And there's also an opportunity for people in Arizona to ban themselves from all casinos. So, a little incentive to stop.
Well, we've got our lines open here. Everyone's going to get this book. It's Behind the Eight Ball. If it's not you, you know someone, this is a book you can give to them. It's for the families. Again, our number here is 602-277-5369. Toll free, it's 1-866-536-1100. They're the only two in the state that do this. They're located in Prescott. Their phone number is 800-216-1840. It's CompassRecoveryCenters.com.